We are back, Peanut Gallery. I'm going to leave the floor to you.
Well, I mean, I just learned about this too, but so not only is Kurt Angle going to make an appearance and Mick Foley making an appearance, but JBL just made an appearance in GCW. What is going on with GCW? Like, they are...
No, JBL made an appearance at MLW.
Oh, okay. So what's going on with these brands? Like, we talked about this a couple of years ago, where we were trying to find alternatives, alternative wrestling promotions, and of course WWE wasn't doing their rebound, the resurgence yet. But I mean, MLW and GCW both are kind of making waves.
Well,
at the moment,
because here's the thing:
they are signing a lot of these big, even if it's just for one night. It's like Kurt Angle probably doesn't come all that cheap.
I wonder if there is a working relationship with WWE, because Kurt Angle, if I'm not mistaken, is under a Legends contract with the E. I know JBL is.
Yeah, JBL's making appearances everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he showed up in TNA.
Right, he showed up in TNA. He showed up in TNA at Victory Road.
He showed up in Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't go over to Japan and make an appearance there. I would be surprised if he's riding around the fucking corner doing that.
I would be surprised. But these little indie promotions are somehow, even with the resurgence with WWE, are doing well for themselves.
Well, yeah, because wrestling just in general is on a resurgence. Except for AEW, because AEW is booking horribly.
Even though AEW is the second biggest promotion.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's the help with WWE.
I think WWE is doing a lot of.
I mean, look at Bloodsport. Yeah. That is a GCW sponsored show, even though it's Josh Barnett who's running the program. You had the Creed brothers. You had Shayna Baszler. I think there was somebody else, but I think you guys get the point. There's just a lot of these other people showing up on other brands. And don't be surprised if we start seeing some MLW, GCW, these people maybe with some names showing up on NXT.
Right.
I could see that.
Absolutely.
We have enough TNA people there. Might as well run the gambit and have everybody show up.
Right. Seriously.
What about Triple A having luchadors show up on NXT? That'd be cool.
Right. But yeah, you're right. I think a lot of this is WWE related, just opening up to other promotions.
It's just the daunting of a new era, and it's great. Yeah. It's fantastic.
I feel sorry for Steph, man. She was also involved in the major storyline too, which was very surprising.
Steph DeLander needs neck surgery.
I mean, it just seems like it came out of nowhere.
It did. It came out of. I
don't think even TNA had a plan, because obviously she was going to be very much involved in this drama between PCO and Matt Cardona.
Exactly. So this really did come out of nowhere. I hope it's not generative or anything like that. Right. Like it'll continue to do that, or genetic. I hope it's something that they can correct. And
I hope it's something that's injury related. Something that is like, oh, this is not like an ongoing issue.
Right.
But neck surgery isn't something to laugh at, because of course Bryan Danielson also needs neck surgery by the end of the year. So,
and yet he's still fucking wrestling.
Right, he is
incredible. He's taped up like a mummy. At least TNA care about their fucking talent and say, if you need to, get neck surgery.
And there is no timetable for her return, obviously.
Yeah, because next, depending on how bad this surgery is, it could be. We've seen people come back in 6 months. We've seen people retire.
But
that would suck for.
What I liked about this, though, is that Steph DeLander wanted to come out and address it with the fans directly.
I'm glad about that too. It really shows that she cares, and she's obviously upset. I'm upset about it. I saw that. I'm like, oh, dude,
I'm upset too. So this is Kenta, not Kenta.
Don't look at me. You're the one who has to have these.
I understand, Adam. I can't remember his name because it's Japanese.
I mean, there's these wonderful things, and I have them.
It's Kuniyaki Kobayashi.
Yes, he was a OG person for the dojo, and if I'm not mistaken, the first IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, and then he also had a very famous, long-standing rivalry with Jushin Thunder Liger.
Right. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. I can't remember. I think he was like 60-something.
He was 68 years old.
Oh, so close.
Yes. And then Motor City Machine Guns, I think it's all but confirmed at this point in time that they have signed with WWE.
And they are going to NXT, which people have their reservations regarding Motor City Machine Guns going directly to NXT.
They're past their prime. I mean, they're not the young whippersnappers that we've all come to know and love.
That's true. This is not 2012 Motor City Machine Guns.
And I'm thinking that they're going to NXT because they wanted to go to NXT. I think so. It was a choice, I think, for them to go to NXT.
They're not forced to go anywhere that they don't want to. Right. It's the Motor City Machine Guns.
They're still going to get paid main roster money.
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
They'll show up mainly at NXT. And then that also gives them the opportunity to work in TNA, which is their
exactly.
And I think that they are also there to really
and now just keep in mind too, and NXT is going into CW, so I wonder if they're going to be waiting for them to debut there.
That is the theory, is that they are going to be waiting for that CW debut for them to debut.
They made the smart choice.
Yep,
they made the smart choice.
They did. They made the very smart choice. So Batista had a big interview, I think, with I can't remember the guy's
Chris
name.
Van Fleet.
Yep. And he talked about, obviously, because he has this movie coming out
with Drew McIntyre.
I
can't remember. I think it was a Killer's Game or something like that. Yeah. I'm not a movie person.
Yeah, it is a Killer's Game. But he said something very interesting about why he retired the way that he did. And it was because he retired as a heel, more of a heel persona rather than a big babyface persona.
Right.
And he said that he wanted to go out on his own terms, too. So he wasn't injured or anything. But people are going to be comparing the way that Batista went with the way that John Cena is going to go.
And Batista literally said, I couldn't do what Cena did. I wanted to do just one more big farewell. Batista has nothing left to prove. He doesn't have to do a retirement tour.
Obviously, Batista and John Cena have a lot of parallels with terms of their wrestling careers.
They are friends, and I respect Batista immensely for how he got to this point, but I agree with him. If he was ready to be done, I think he should go out on his terms, and he did, and now he's doing movies. He lost an uncomfortable amount of weight. He's like at 214 or something like that.
He looks very skinny. But that was an interesting thing that I got from that interview.
Yep.
Bret Hart, I mean, just in general, both of the Harts. I was such on a good train of thought.
Bret Hart.
I like the interactions that he had with Gunther and with Sami Zayn.
Yes.
And Natalya also came back on the same show.
Yes, that was really cool because she's from Calgary, if I'm not mistaken.
And so I think he is also. Either he's from Calgary or somewhere just outside of Calgary. But he spent a lot of he cut his boots in Calgary. Let's put it that way.
I guess he wasn't feeling well.
Yes, he wasn't. Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
His entire segment was actually up in the air because apparently he was sick. And that's sort of why he was sort of more mundane than he usually is. I mean, Bret Hart has not been the person of enormous amount of charisma, but he was definitely not on his A game.
He did not get over because he had good mic skills.
Yep. he had fantastic matches, but he was definitely a little more on
he was a little more muted.
Yeah, but just because he wasn't feeling well, and he made some botches, some mistakes, and it's like, well, the guy's probably so fog-headed. I know when I'm feeling bad, I don't want to be on camera. Peanut Gallery and I don't get sick a whole lot, but if one of us is, the show's going to be up in the air.
Right.
I'm not going to try to get through a show when I'm dying.
Right.
This is not going to happen. Like I have a fairly good work ethic for my age, and even if I'm sick, I'm like, I am doing nothing.
And so what do you think about the new logo?
I talked about it, and it is good and sort of weird at the same time. It's good because I even talked about this. It's clear. You can use it in different ways, and it's instantly recognizable. And because I am a designer as my regular job, I've been doing it for a long time.
Yep.
But I see how people can say it looks like it's saying smack sound.
Yes.
Because it's like combined, but the D and the top part of the S are literally the same shape.
Yeah.
Even though they're a different color. I'm not the most gigantic fan of gradients in a logo. I'm more of a minimalist logo guy. But I think it does work.
It'll grow on us.
Yeah, it'll grow on you. The theme song is what people were more pissed off about because it's some little poppy whatever song. It's like that's what's popular right now.
Yeah, people just need to get over that. That's just what's popular, and you're not the primary demographic of WWE. WWE really caters more towards families.
Yeah,
that is really what it is.
Now the person's song is ass, but that's just personally speaking. I'm more of a rock guy myself. I understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, I know that what's popular, and what's popular right now is poppy shit.
Right,
and it ebbs and flows. It'll go away in a while. It happens around every decade-ish or so.
It does.
So people need to chill out.
And it honestly did need a refresh. They've been on Fox in 2019.
They went. I mean, it was about time. I'm sure Raw's going to do the same exact thing.
Yeah,
when
Raw's probably going to do the same exact thing. But
NXT's probably going to do the same exact thing. They're going to do a nice little refresh with everything.
Yep.
And that's just how it's going to be.
So that's the first of many. So I think that's it. But when we come back, we're actually going to talk a little bit more about some of the numbers behind these shows and why it makes the most sense for them to be on those networks.
Exactly.